Shalom, Yashua. I hope y'all are resting and you're peaceful, full of shalom. You know how I've told you Abba teaches me throughout the day. This morning he gave me 2 or 3 valuable, tools, truths. He just gave me another one. That's a hard pill to swallow. It's gonna be for most. I've got it over halfway down, and I've been attempting to swallow it for a long time, and it's not one that's going to be cheerful. You're probably not going to be all smiles. If it wasn't an absolute necessity, I would never do this to y'all. If certain truths that need to be heard, that bring you down and turn your smile upside down, here's your chance to turn this video off. I'm not one that wants to do these kind of things. I'm happy-go-lucky. You know what I say, you gotta get it while it's hot. I could put this up and try to, put it back together the way Abba has showed me, but he's the Most High. I am a nobody. I am a lover of my neighbor, though. I love you. That's why I have to do this. No one, almost no one on this planet, I'm sure some people that just heard planet are thinking, he's not a flat earther. Everyone needs to lay their little ideals down right now. Hardly anyone on this, whatever you want to call it, wants to live, wants to go to the kingdom, heaven, whatever you want to say. I'll put it this way. If any of them really do believe there's going to be a judgment day, I find that hard to believe because of their actions. Actions speak louder than words. So if they do believe there's a judgment day, whether it's heaven or hell after that or whatever, they don't want to get a pass on that day. They're happy and fine if they believe. But how could you, if you really did believe there's going to be a judgment day, and you're okay with knowing that when you get there, you're going to be told those words, "Get away from me, I do not know you." Do you really believe? You don't believe. If you truly believed, you would be protecting your own ass and others, because protecting and helping others in turn is going to help you save your own hide. And no one seems to be concerned with their lives. So I don't think they really even believe. A few do. This morning I got to talk to my beloved sister and brother Dallas and Mama T. How y'all doing? I love y'all. And we were just happy getting to talk to one another. True children of the Most High can spot each other. I told y'all that I'm a Rumwachel. That's one thing that I guess you could call it an attribute. It's kind of like a spidey sense, We can spot each other. If I'm like in a mall crowd of people, another Rumlachal could be in that crowd, but way up in front of me. I can spot that person. How? I don't know. I've had so many people, I've said, oh, I've had gorges with me, and I said, there's a Rumlachal. And gorges just look at me like, yeah, right. I've showed them I wasn't wrong. Not saying I've always been right, but I've showed those naysayers where they thought there would be no way I could have known that I did. Well, that's how it is with the children of the Most High. Me and my beloved sis, Tarina, and her hubby, Dallas, we enjoyed a few minutes of just talking. I'm going to show you what the Most High showed me. And like I said, I've been trying to swallow this pill for a while. But, you know, the finishing touches was just made by the Most High to let me know that nobody wants to come. They do not. Most people are they're already thinking, he thinks he's going, he thinks he's going to heaven, and, that right there is all the proof I would need to show you. I can break that down and prove and back up to you what I'm saying with just that. I was thinking a little bit ago, I should write a book. Like I said earlier, when you're spreading seeds, it's about esteeming Yahuwah. You can't change that person. Abba brings the increase. He waters it. He nurtures it, nourishes it, brings it up, just like he did us. Changing a person has nothing to do with you. You can't stop these people who are deliberately wanting, I guess one might not say they want to die, but they don't want to live. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. What has happened, just like in Timothy right here, it says, but know this, and you've heard this, but let's read it again because you need to hear it one more time. That in the last days, hard times shall come. Today and right now, it's hard. I am ecstatic that I'm not in this category. But it does suck knowing that everyone around you are in it. And like I was saying earlier, that's why I got those 2 nuggets this morning, see? So I didn't get crushed when he brought me this truth that he must have had appointed for me well before this day. That's why he gave me those. I was wondering why he just decided to give me those 2 awesome new perspectives, ways to look at things that just opened everything up and took great burdens off of me. Now I know it was to prepare me for what he was going to show me this Shabbat evening. Yeah. For men shall be lovers of self, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, thankless, wrongdoers, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, fierce, haters of good, betrayers, reckless, puffed up, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of the Most High. There's probably millions of people all over the world playing this pile of dirt, whatever you want to call it, that are reading that right now, and they're thinking, look how it's gonna be in the last days. These people, that person that's reading that is probably one of those people. if you're sitting there right now saying, well, what about you? You're one of those people. I just got off the phone with my biological brother, and I was talking about this with him, and I said, let's measure our actions, what we have to say, what we believe, up to the truthful measurement of love, compassion, if we love our neighbor, if we want to live on, or if we don't. And I said, I'll go first. I can go first. You can measure me. And we can just go off of what you know I've said and what you know to be true. You know, we don't have to bring out evidence that you're not 100% sure of. That way there's no doubt. You know, there's no guessing whether I'm bullshitting you or not. There was a time back in like I got married to my first wife when I wasn't even 18, right? Got persuaded into it. I did not want to get married, but after I got married, I was like, well, you know, just go with it. This might be cool. There was like a stretch of 5 or 6 years had went by, and I realized one day that I had been the only one in my immediate family, besides my mom, but out of my siblings, I got 2 sisters and a brother, that had reached out to them and stayed in contact with them. It just dawned on me one day. I was like, for the last, as long as I can remember, I always call my brother Johnny. I always call her. And why I realized that was because my brother threw a fit and was pissed off because I stopped unaware, you know, just surprised him and to see him because I hadn't seen him in a while, and he got mad. He was watching TV. He got upset. He don't like it when I just pop in. If he did that to me, I would love it. You probably won't believe me. He don't believe me. He knows it's true though, because he knows my attitude. I always got a smile when I see him. I always looked up to him. So I stopped. I said, well, I'm just going to go. I'm going to see how long it will go without seeing one another. I'm not going to be the one. See if they want to see me. If I hadn't give up and give in because I wanted to see them so bad, it might be like that was in '02. Here it is 21. We still might be going, and we never had talked, you know. That's a bit of a reach, but I had to be the one. And they didn't even notice it. They just want me to go away. Anybody, unless you got something for them. And if you don't, they're going to talk about you. And not just them. I'm not just I'm talking about everybody. Everyone, almost. If you're not like that, I can tell you right now, you are for sure a child of the Most High. The way it's looking right now, he's got probably a family of 10 at the most, is my guess. There's going to be like 10 of us on the bus out of here. The rest of y'all, is that me saying bad things about you? You don't want to go, and I'm going to prove it. You can prove it to yourself and anyone listening. Here's how you do it. If you're thinking that I'm being self-righteous by saying that, you don't want to go. If you can somehow find it within you to say, why is he saying that? Is there something I'm doing? Everyone's saying, he's crazy. That's all the proof I need. And most of y'all can't even see that. So I would have to break that down, you know, slice it and dice it and lay it all out like a jigsaw puzzle for you. But you wouldn't even let me get halfway through, and you'd be so aggravated you just want me to die and leave you alone. You don't want to go. It's sad. I will help you if you want. Not saying that I'm better than you or I am anyone to help. I'm just saying, if you want my help, I'm all yours. You won't. Shabbat shalom, Yasharal. I'm back for a third time. No, actually this is my fourth time today. When duty calls, though, one must man his post. It's been a heck of a day. Yeah. Yep. I always say, like, when the Most High shows me truth, there's no other way that one could explain it other than it's him. And I could tell you that, but you couldn't understand. The reason I am made to know that is so my faith has no chink in it. There's no way I couldn't believe. It'd be like saying I don't have feet. If I could convince myself that my feet are not there, like seriously, how could I do that? So, I was making a video with the message I'm going to try to give y'all, and had about 20 minutes of it clocked. And got a call, which is going to, it changed part of the message now. The message I'm about to give to you is not going to put a smile on your face, and if you're smiling, you'll probably, if you honestly listen to it, you'll probably have your smile turned upside down. Before I got that call, I don't know if anything could have made me smile. What I was saying before the phone call was, there aren't, I can't see Abba, Yahuwah's children, being 104. I know there's a lot of people on this place, and I'm sure there's 144,000 of us. But it looks like Abba has a family of 10 at best. And I'm sure most everyone right now is thinking, how does he know that? That's proof right there of what I'm about to show you. And if it wasn't, this is what I said before, if this wasn't an absolute necessity, I would not tell you this. And I'm the opposite of a Debbie Downer. I'm happy-go-lucky. But truths this morning. At the time, I was just like, oh, thank you. And just thought he'd give them to me because, randomly. But now I know it was to prepare me for what when I tell you, he must have had this night, this message that he was going to show me. He had this planned for who knows how long. A long time. That's why he showed me those truths this morning, because they were preparing me for the brutal truth, rude awakening that he was to show me tonight. And yeah, he would have to show me these things. It has to be done. So, shalom, shalom, Yashral. It is no longer Shabbat, according to the best way I know how to keep it. If you just rolled your eyes and said you thought you were keeping Shabbat on Saturn's day, according to the Gregory calendar, you're one of those people that I've been trying to talk about. And not talk about. I hope there is someone who hears this, who has understanding. Not understanding the words that I speak, but why. The why. The empathy or sympathy. I tried to make that on Saturday night, Shabbat night. I had 8 goes at it. And I realize now why Abba, Yahuwah, allowed it to go down that way, because it went along with the lesson as well. If you're a sub that's been with me since I made the Bloodsuckers video, you probably know, if you were listening, you know how I feel about eating meat, right? I'm not technically a vegan, because I will eat it if it's boiled, because that's what I have learned through the word of the Most High, being led by the Spirit. Yes. And if you just thought in your heart that I was wrong, and you have no intentions on asking me how I came to that conclusion, I'm going to show you how you are part of the suicidal. If you kill yourself, but you didn't want to, is that suicide? Like if someone was playing around with a firearm and they shot themselves and died, is that suicide? Whatever that would be called, that's what those people are. They don't want to, but they're gonna die. And that sucks. but it's the truth. If you've been with me since that video, you'll know how I feel about eating. And you've probably read plenty of times in the scripture where it says, do not eat the blood with the meat, right? That's not what this video is about. But Shabbat night, after I had made those videos and that short, later on in the evening I had called my biological brother, and he knows how I feel about that. We've talked about it so many times. He asked me if I would want to come over for a brisket sandwich, and I said no. Because he knows. And he said, what? He said, there's no blood in it. I grill the blood. There's no way there could be blood in it. And I was like, well, if you would boil it, I would eat it. And I'd probably eat all kinds of it. But I've told you, I've went over this with you, that when you roast meat or do anything to it other than boiling with water, the caloparies, I might be wrong on how I pronounce that word, the caloparies close up and they seal in the myoglobin and hemoglobin, which is blood. And I told him that, and he said, no, I can't see how that could be. I don't think that. I don't think that we have to do that. And I was like, okay, that's fine, but I don't want to eat it. Well, he was upset, and you could tell he couldn't stand it that I wouldn't cave. And I remembered a saying just a little bit ago. Keep in mind that here it is, Monday night, Saturday night, I tried to make this 8 times. I've thought about it. I thought about it all that night, all day yesterday, and all day today. And I knew I had to come back and put this out. It's huge. So I've been thinking about it. And just a little bit ago, a saying that I've heard before came to mind, and it goes like this. Those who have a problem with you setting your boundaries are those who benefit from you having none. Because once you have them, they can't do what they want to do to you. You can imagine what they would benefit and what they will not. Well, how would my brother benefit by me not eating, or by me setting aside my convictions to not eat blood and to go ahead and eat it? He wouldn't. So this is a demonic contention that comes at me pretty much every day. A lot of times people will say, well, what are you going to eat? Well, and they get mad, like I've asked them to feed me. I have not. And I don't stick my nose into how they eat. I don't care. But that conversation happened, and he called me a liar, uh, said I was wrong, said I was crazy, and that I'm in danger, by trampling underfoot the gift the Messiah gave, all that. And then I talked to a non-biological brother who let me know that he was talking about me with a person, and he pretty much told on himself that they were gossiping about me. And he told me that he was telling this other guy that I did him dirty in a way a few years back, right? But what he was talking about was something that I've told to people 100 times, a story that included that. It wasn't about that, but it included it. And that guy, my brother from another mother, his biological brother, wanted to do him horribly dirty, and I didn't allow it, and I, in defiance of his brother, stood up for him and made sure it didn't happen right in front of his brother. And his brother got pissed, and my brother from another mother was standing right there. And now he must, to be honest and fair, he probably forgot that that's how it went down. But back to last night, I was on the phone with him. He accidentally told on himself that he was gossiping with another guy about me, and he said that I was the one that did him dirty. And I said, well, hold up, no. I said, you trying to tell me you don't remember that your brother was trying to do this, and this is what happened because I said no, hell no, and made sure it didn't? And he was like, oh, what? Oh, yeah, that's what happened. I said, yeah, I made sure it wasn't going to happen. Are you crazy? When what I done, and I'm not boasting, and this is for sake of the conversation. If it was one of them that did this, I'd be telling you that they did it. What I done, most people in that situation would have went along with his brother and let that happen. He was going to go along with it because he let that happen all the time. I finally was the one, I guess, because it was just, right place at the right time. I stood up for him because I had never been there to witness it. And it happened in front of me, and I was just like, no, this is not happening. And the guy I stood up for, me and him we've been friends since childhood. And when we were kids, we were inseparable. And there were things that happened when we were kids. We got in trouble, and this is just the honest truth, and you could ask him. He instigated it. I ended up getting in trouble, and I was the one protesting him to not do it. But yet I would be the one to get blamed. He would get off scotch-free. And we laugh about this all the time. It's the truth. He went to prison for a long time. After, like, when I was like 16, he went away for a while. And I never wrote him a letter. And it tore me up for years. I still don't feel right about it. Well, that day when I stood up for him was one of the first times I had seen him since he had got out. Well, shortly after that, after me standing up for him, I looked at him. I said, "Hey, I want to tell you something." And it was hard for me to admit it, you know. I still don't know how I did it, but I apologized. And he was so unexpected, like he never expected it. But it was something, every time I looked at him, that's all I could think about. It was like, my gosh, my best friend went in there and was in there that whole time, and I never even wrote him one letter. I never, you know, it kills me to think about it. I apologized to him and I hugged him, and he was just shocked, and I would have been too. But last night, or Shabbat night, he told on himself that he was with this other guy that he don't even barely know, and they were gossiping about me. And he was saying that they were talking about me, and he was saying how I was the one that screwed him over that day. And I was like, no, remember? And I jogged his memory, and it all came back to him, and he was like, yeah, oh, that's right, you are, oh, yeah, that's how it went, ain't it? And I said, yeah, that's how it went. What are you talking about? But no apology. And he said he was going to help me with something. No big deal. He was going to help me out with something. I was like, okay. And he made me feel like he was really doing something for me. And after that phone call was when I realized that no one's coming. No one wants to go. And I got plenty of evidence to show you. I'm just telling you these stories so you can understand what I was thinking. After that phone call, when I realized he was gossiping about me and accusing me falsely of doing something when I actually had been the one that stood up for him, and that was the same day I apologized for not writing him any letters. And he didn't even apologize to me for gossiping about me falsely. And I thought he offered to help me do something, and I thought that's what he was doing. Well, come to find out, it's because it's benefiting him. And I'm going to end up getting the short end of the deal here. So I thought he was helping me, but the only reason he was so he could benefit. And he was one of the last people left that I thought had a heart of gold like that just wouldn't do that. And it just took the wind out of my sails, pardon me, yesterday, or that day, because I was on cloud nine over them two, messages. And after that, I realized that Abba must have given me those messages, those truths in the morning, to prepare me for what would happen that night. And it had to happen, because I was holding out hope. I was holding out hope and thinking that maybe I could do something to help somebody, or that if I just keep doing this, or, and like me sharing these messages, like if I share a message, share the truth that the Most High wants me to say, in which He does. But like that first message, it's all to esteem Him. If He gives us a powerful revelation that blows your mind, it's not because He wants to blow your mind, but it's because He wants you to esteem Him. It's like, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And this is something I've been talking about for a long time. People would go, Christians, they like to go to, they talk about church, and, one might say, I really don't like that church because it really don't do too much for me. I like that one over there because, we get down and they got a nice band and everyone. And that's the whole mentality for churchianity. They're thinking about what they can get. They never once think about they're going to praise the Most High. They're going to give Him at least that much praise and esteem, because the other days they haven't done shit for Him. They never think about that. That's why they don't want to go. And it's not that Abba is just going to destroy him because they were unrighteous here or there. It's because they don't want to go. They don't want to live. They are suicidal. Just like in 2 Timothy. We'll go there. And I read this in the first part. But let's read it again. I thought it was in my... Come back to that. Proverbs 24. Figure out what here it is, chapter 3. For men shall be lovers of self. And this says, but now this, that in the last days the time shall come hard, shall be hard. And he's talking about a specific time. For men shall be lovers of self. There's so many times where if I'm around some people and they're gossiping, and it could be somebody that done something horrible to me, always does. And if they're gossip, they're gonna talk about him. I usually bring it to a stop, and I might even say something that is nice about him, but it's the truth. And I get looked at like I'm an alien. They will choose money over you. They would rather make $100 versus, it's just, there's no love. The love of many has waxed cold. And like I've said before, love is not just a term, a phrase. It's an action. When I apologized to him that day for not writing him letters, I loved him that day. All those years I didn't write him a letter, I had no love for him. Yeah, it tore me up inside. But all I had to do was stop and get a pen and a piece of paper, a stamp and an envelope. It would have took me 10 minutes, and he would have been thrilled when he got that letter. I wasn't loving him. they were gossiping about me, he could have easily said, no, let's wait. I was there. He could have called me and said, what happened that day? And then that whole false accusation, that could have been resolved. There's no understanding. There's no compassion, no empathy, because people are unloving. They're boasters, they're proud, they're blasphemers, disobedient, thankless. They don't forgive, they slander, fierce haters of good. Why is it bothering my brother the way it is because I don't eat meat? Why should he care what I don't give two shits what he eats. I mean, yeah, I would hope that he eats decent for his health, but if he don't eat whatever Caesar salad, I'm not gonna have a problem with it. And he's not the only one. There's lots of people that have a problem with my diet that comes from Torah. They have a problem with it. So like I said, it's demonic, it's spiritual. But it's everywhere. It comes from all angles. There's a few that I know that would support me in that. They would love it. Like my brother and sister, I told you we were talking on the phone. They would have words of encouragement from that. The other 99.9999% have an issue with it. They have a problem with it. Those people, the 99.9 whatever, they have a problem when you read scripture. They have a problem when you want to do the right thing, unless it goes back to what I was saying about judging righteously. They have a problem with doing the right thing unless they are the ones who come up with it in order for them to look righteous or to prove someone unrighteous. The reason we are to judge righteously is for our education, to sharpen us. If someone isn't righteous, there's nothing you can do about it. And you judging righteously will have nothing to do with changing them. It's all for the Most High. You know, like I told my brother yesterday, I messaged him after that and I said, you know what, I'm just not going to message you anymore or call you, because every time, almost every time we talk, it ends up being an argument, and it's over the way I believe, and you have a problem with it. But it's told that I push it on you or everyone else, when that's not the case. I've never told anyone what they need to eat. I've made content on what the Most High says we ought to eat, but I've never went to him and said, look here, you're eating unrighteously, you're gonna burn in hell. Never. I've never said, I've never went to someone and said, you need to do this. Never one time. Here's an example. About 3 years ago, my oldest sister called me and said, you come over here, I want to talk to you. And I was like, oh boy. I went over there and she said, I want to talk to you for a second. I said, okay. She said, no, I don't want you to get mad. And I was like, well, what do you want to tell me? And it was like November, late November. And she said, why can't you just put a Christmas tree up in your house for the kids? That right there is the story of my life. I've never went to her house and said, why don't you throw that abomination out of your house? It's an abomination, and the Most High hates it. The Most High that you claim to worship and tell everybody you do, and you ask to pray for me like I'm some big horrible sinner, and you're not. I've never said nothing like that. But they seek me out. They'll get looking at me. Her husband, my brother-in-law, we were coming home one night. He was working with me. It was Valentine's Day, and he wanted me to stop him at the store so he could get his wife, my sister, something for Valentine's Day. And he said, man, and we hadn't even talked about it. He knowed well how I felt about all that. We'd been over this countless times. And he said, man, I just don't understand why you just can't get your sister and your little girl something for Valentine's Day, a little stuffed animal and some candy to show them you love them. My gosh. And like I was some horrible, hateful scumbag. And thank the Most High, he put the words in my mouth. I said, no, brother-in-law. You know why I don't have to do that? Because I show my little girl every day of the year, 365, 24/7. She knows damn well I love her. And there's no evidence anywhere that her or anyone else could say I do not. And if you do, you're lying. You're a liar and a fat mouth. You, on the other hand, gotta come in and buy something on Valentine's Day, like you just said, to let your wife, my sister, know you love her, because you have neglected her all the other days of the year. So you're gonna make up for it with a little bag of candy and a stuffed animal. How cheap is that? Well, it had to be said. He came to me, and it was the truth. So what's that tell you? Think about that for a minute. I'm not telling you who I am. I'm not going to say, which I know I am a child of the Most High. I know the Most High speaks with me. He gives me revelations and truth. Why is it that I get attacked for obeying according to the Bible, the same Bibles they have? I get attacked for obeying what the Bible says we ought to do to obey the Most High. I get attacked for doing that. And everyone that I know personally, most people on Facebook and everywhere else outside of a couple, I love you, sis. I get attacked for doing what it says to do, and they're trying to convince me to not do that and to do what it says I ought not do. Think about that. If we laid out, that's what I told my brother. I said, you're telling me I'm a liar and I'm doing all this and that. I said, let's lay out what one another does. Let's measure one another, and I'll go first. You can measure me first. Take what I say and write it down. What I do, write it all down. And line it up with what the word says, and you tell me. And we'll do the same with you. And he didn't respond to that. And that's not me boasting. I'm not being a jerk. He came at me and was telling me that I was leading people astray and doing all this. Well, why does 99.999% of the world's population have a problem with someone when they want to do what Abba told us to do? And there's some people that want to do it. They want to follow the Torah and the commandments, but they do it for reasons that are not in line with what the Word says. That short I made yesterday, I could see how someone might have taken that out of context and thought that I was just trying to be famous or something laughable like that. But no one who probably thought that and rolled their eyes, and I don't know that anyone did, I just know that they did. That's just how it is. And I'm sure someone eventually will say something that will confirm that to me. But after I made it, I realized that, yeah, they might take that out of context. But you know what? A child of the Most High won't take it out of context. They'll either, in their heart, think, well, I don't know what he was thinking or what was going on or why he made that. Or they will come and ask me, and I can tell them the context, and then they'll understand. That's understanding. That's the understanding I'm talking about. If they ask me, they might get a chance for me to say, well, I was looking at my phone and a notification popped up that said, hey, you can make a short here, and all I had to do was push a button, and the only thing that was on my mind was what I said on that short. And I did it because I can. Which is what I do. I wing a lot of things. Never once did I think, I'm going to go make a short and I'm going to put it like this so I can look like, no. You might think that, but that's not what happened. And you might be thinking right now that I'm telling you that I'm lying trying to make myself look good. No. What I said happened is exactly what happened. If you told me that, I might have thought to myself, he's probably telling, what reason do I have not to believe him right now? What does it matter? If there was evidence that could prove to someone that I am in fact that way, that is what I was doing, then yeah, we can talk about that. There's no evidence of that. There was me making a short. And the only thing that would say that I was being the way you probably thought I was your thoughts, your heart. And what comes out of our hearts, yours, if you're rolling your eyes, is continually wicked and evil. But I can't say that about mine. And that's just the truth. I do things that aren't right. Yeah, I'm a sinner just like everyone else. But why is it that in almost every situation where people are naturally, their first thought, their initial thought is evil or wickedness, and mine isn't? I've done bad things, and it's usually because I got thinking, well, man, maybe I just should, shoot, they've done this to me this whole time. Why am I thinking about giving them something nice or doing something nice to them when they've done screwed me sideways, Why is that? Why am I like that? It should be obvious. And people will say, well, look at his mouth. He says piss in and shit. Where is it wrong that I can't do that? Where does it say that I can't use those words that probably aren't even, they're not curse words because they're not cursing anyone. There's nowhere in the scripture where we find out what sin is and what it ain't that says I can't use words that give emphasis on what I'm talking about, unless it's a perverted, cursed word. If I'm cursing someone or talking perverted, then yes. David himself, right here, let's look at this. Right here. Where's this at? So and more, this is the KJV, so and more also do the Most High unto the enemies of David, if I leave of all that pertain to him by the morning light, any that pisseth against the wall. Yeah. Did they have a problem with him when he said it? No. But they'll try to convince me to go against what my Father in heaven says. Tell me to partake in abominations and paganry, but they'll roll their eyes and think that I'm going to hell if I say piss. And I don't know anyone else like me, except for people that I have not met in person, like my beloved sister, Mrs. T, and her hubby, and, there's only a few people. And I've thought, there's a lot of these mishpachah that's on Facebook that they always show their true colors. They want to judge righteously because they want to be seen in the marketplace. They want to be the one leading the prayer, or leading the whatever. And I don't know anyone else that's just fine with taking the back seat outside of a couple. And that's why I said, he showed me that night, that there aren't going to be too many. There will be from the generations. There will be the 144,000 and more that will come out that are in the earth right now. But if it happened right now, the only reason I say this is because I don't see anyone. Where are you? If you're here, come out and show yourself. Because I haven't seen you, except for a few. And in person, I'm losing more and more every day, until I don't think there's any left. And I've seen things happen to them, and I've seen where they've been showed things that should have caused a great change in their life, the way they think. But it did not. It actually made it worse. So it shows anyone that it ain't of the world. If you're out there, it will show you that they who claim to not be of the world are in fact probably more worldly than the guy they're saying that is worldly. And their intentions are obvious. Mine is too. I don't have the intention of saying someone's worldly so I can say, aha, I'm sad about it. And I would love to be able to do something about it, but I can't. It's up to them. I'll keep on doing what I'm doing, but I'm still gonna use those tools the Most High gave me on Shabbat morning. It's gonna be all for Him. I'm gonna esteem Him when I'm planting my seeds, and I'm not gonna think at all. I'm not gonna think for a second that I got anything to do with the increase. And that was foolish of me to think otherwise. But that's all for now, Mishpachah. I love you. If you're hiding out there and you are a child of the Most High, show yourself. We'd like to meet you. I know I would, because it's lonely out here. It's hard out here for a pimp. Ooh, that's really going to raise some eyebrows, isn't it? I love y'all, Mishpachah. Shalom, shalom. D is out. Peace out.